Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm your host at Alumni Weekend Show. So we are here at Alumni Weekend. We'll be blessed from day one up to today, which is the last day. And I'm here with the chairman of the alumni. Sir, can we please know your name?
Okay, my name is Paul Matsudi.
And
Yes, I'm the FCS alumni chairman.
well, we are so privileged to have you in the house. We have three questions for you today. And the first question is, what advice would you give to final year students who are trying to manage academics, project, and also fellowship activities?
Okay, my counsel to final year students is for them to be able to strike a balance between academics and spiritual activities. In as much as it's good to engage in spiritual activities, but my counsel is that they strike a balance so that they don't do one at the expense of the other, because they need the two. They need the two. It's actually good that you are in school and you excel academically, and it's also a good thing to be doing well in the field. So my counsel is to strike a balance between academics and spiritual activities. Secondly, I would want to say discipline. Discipline is very important. Discipline when it comes to what to do part time. You manage your time wisely. Since considering the fact that you're a leader or you're a member of the fellowship, you have responsibilities. So you don't have time to waste. You make sure you utilize every time you have. So by so doing, you'll be able to make excel.
FYBs, hope you heard that. Discipline and learn how to manage your time. So in line with this question, we see so many people after graduation, they tend to backslide and all of that. They leave the faith. What advice would you give to people who are about to sign out? What advice would you give them to keep the faith?
So my counsel to them is to hold on to God. Scripture speaking, it says iron sharpens iron. So it's a connection. Once you pull out, you become vulnerable to the enemy. Most times by default, every man living on earth whatever you see a man doing is acting under the influence of a spirit, either the spirit of God or the spirit of the devil. So when you don't identify with the people of God, it's very easy for the devil to have access, because by implication you have given access to the devil. You have given invitation to, so you must connect. You must make sure you don't cut out of your connection with people of the faith.
Okay, sir. I think I have one more question, but before I ask, sir, what would you do better if you were given the opportunity to come back in time as an undergraduate?
Okay, what I will do better is still on the aspect of time management, because a lot of the things we do as undergraduate, or a lot of things students do in school, is tied to time management, effective time management. If we can manage our time properly, we know what to do part time. It goes a long way in solving a lot of challenges students get to experience while in school.
Okay, time management. Okay, lastly, before we let you go, so what review would you give about the program generally from day one to this point?
Okay, I must say that the program has been quite impactful. We have seen God come through in diverse ways, right from the very first day when we had a seminar for the FYB. It was an impactful session. All 3 years ago, the guest speakers spoke powerfully to us at the course of the meeting. We are grateful to God for this meeting.
Oh my God, I've been blessed personally. My review on this program is that God has been intentional about us, and He came to us through our elder brothers, uncles, and aunties who've been so blessed. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the program. Everybody, I'm here again with another special alumni in our midst. And can we know your name?
My name is Cecilia Valentine.
And she's also the secretary of the alumni committee. We have few questions for you. The first question is, as a final year student, what advice would you give to final year students who are trying to balance academics, spiritual life, and fellowship activities, projects?
The advice I will give them is to have a focus, know what they want and how they want to achieve it, and then plan that in a timetable such that every priority is given the time it deserves. Whether it's projects, whether it's exams, whether it's spiritual life, that there is a balance, that one is not taking more time over the other. So yes.
Hope you heard that. Plan your time. Ma, secondly, I've noticed that so many people after graduation they tend to backslide. They can't keep the faith because there is no atmosphere of fellowship again. What advice would you give to people who are going out in few months? What advice would you give to them to keep the faith?
Keep your secret altar burning. Once your secret altar is burning, regardless of the environment you find yourself, you will be able to keep burning for Christ. Look at Daniel. He found himself in the land of captivity, and he was able to be 10 times more than his equals because he had a personal sanctification for himself, and that came from his secret altar. So yes, keep your secret altar burning, and regardless of where you find yourself in the world, you'll be able to stand for Christ. It's important.
Wow. Learn to keep your secret altar. Ma, one more question about students. If you were opportune to go back in time as an undergraduate, what would you do better?
I'll catch Jesus fire early. You know, when you're in school, especially in the university, the Jesus fire on campus is different from every other place.
Hope you guys are learning a lot. Some of you are just lukewarm, you are just casual. Please catch the fire early.
Very important.
Yes, ma. So lastly, ma, what review do you have about the program generally, and what are your expectations for today, the grand finale?
The program has been splendid, starting from Friday when we have the entrepreneurship seminar for FYB and other students who are interested in going into business. It was great. Yesterday was fire. We learned about the vision of the kingdom, that as Jesus' disciples on earth, we shift the culture, we change the culture of the things happening around us, whether we are in education, whether we are in the media, whether we are in science, whether we are in business, whether we are in finance. Wherever we go, we are expected to be the light that brings Jesus' culture to that place. So today I am expecting more fire of that, to learn how I can shine that light, how I can shift the culture, particularly for myself who works with youth and is in the academy. Yeah, that's it.
So we've heard from the alumni secretary, and hope you are coming with an expectation. Don't leave this program without catching any fire. Hi everyone, my name is Chirike and I'm here with
Mr. Yahweh Philibus.
This is one of our uncles in the fellowship who graduated. He's an alumni. So sir, I have few questions for you. The first question is, what advice would you give to final year students who are trying to manage academics, finances, projects, classes and all of that, spiritual life? What advice would you give to such students?
Okay, the advice I can give to final year brethren is for them to remain focused, because focus is one thing that can help you go far in life. Now, when I mean by focus, I mean also planning, because first, if you're talking about finances, you have to plan your finances. If you're talking about timing, you have to plan your time. If you're talking about managing whether academics and whatsoever, it deals with all planning. So planning is very, very critical and key to the success of final year brethren. I say this because you see, there's always a saying that the way you lay your bed, so shall you lie on it, or so you will lie on it. So it requires a lot of planning, which time will not permit us to go into the intricacies of discussing all this timing as a whole.
Final year students, hope you learned that timing, plan your time very well. And sir, lastly, what are your expectations for this today is grand finale, right? So what are your expectations? What have you learned so far, and what are your expectations for it?
Okay, from yesterday, I was so amazed, and my mindset got changed yesterday because I've been reading Genesis, the book of Genesis, but I've not had the experience I had yesterday, especially with the guest speaker. He was so systematic, chronological, and historical in, discussing and breaking the issues for anyone to understand the purpose, the mandate God has given us here on earth. Now he told us yesterday that we are supposed to rule. He said every other activities we are doing, it is just to help us rule, whether you're praying or whatsoever. So that actually changed my perception of that particular scripture. And I'm expecting, I came so prepared, my mind is so open to unlearn, to relearn what I know today. And he said it yesterday too, that we should come with an expectant heart, and I'm here with an expectant heart to receive more from the throne of grace.
So you've all heard what we are learning. In case you didn't join us yesterday, these videos, these sermons are online. Go back and revisit these messages. You will be blessed. Thank you for joining.